Well, hello. Welcome back to another episode of I'm Not Triggered, the podcast. I'm your host, Adrian Purchase, and I'm so glad you're here today because today I'm going to do a quick video. I just wanted to share the 5 books that I have found really, really helpful. So let's just get to it. But first, I got to tell you, I'm not a therapist. I'm a combat veteran, and I've done a lot of different therapeutic modalities. I just want to share with you the skills that I've learned from DBT in hopes that it'll help you navigate your life better and with more ease. So with that out of the way, let's get started. So I have 5 books for you today. I have more that I really like, but if I had to pick 5, the 5 books are Atlas of the Heart by Brené Brown, Women Who Run with the Wolves by Clarissa Pinkola Estes, The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk, The Book of Forgiveness by Desmond Tutu and Mfo Tutu. The 5th book is A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. And I found so much value from these books, so much so that I had to tell you why I picked these 5. Atlas of the Heart, the physical copy of it, I mean, the audiobook is great too, but the physical copy of that book is, first of all, it's gorgeous. It is a hardcover book, and it's just beautiful. I really like the layout of the book. I love the way that Brené Brown categorizes emotion. I love the way that she describes and defines these emotions. I love the way that she talks about her own personal experiences and dealing with these emotions. She talks about her research and how other people deal with these emotions. I mean, it's a book that has been so incredibly helpful for me on my healing path. And then Women Who Run with the Wolves is a book that, I mean, it's definitely changed parts of me. It's definitely changed the way that I think about and perceive gender and what being a woman really is, or maybe what it can feel like in a powerful, meaningful, positive way. I've had a lot of negative connotation and I think connection with being a woman. So Women Who Run with the Wolves is a wonderful book. Clarissa Pinkola Estes uses old myths and stories in a way that tells us about kind of the nuances of being a woman. And she does it in language that is, I mean, it's just incredibly well written. Incredibly well written. It is a long book. It's not an easy read. I mean, it's not hard, of course. It's a long read, and you definitely have to be paying attention, I think, to get the most out of it. I've had to read like a couple of the myths and stuff more than once, you know, because some of the ideas are complex, but the way that she talks about them and brings them up and pulls things apart, I think is just done in such a wonderful way. Now, The Body Keeps the Score. This one is a great book that taught me that unprocessed trauma makes us and keeps us sick. Our body really does keep the score. Even if you don't have visual mind memories of events or situations or feelings or things, your body definitely remembers. So if sometimes you have like a feeling that's like a memory, but you can't actually remember anything, it's your body telling you, I have a memory from something that made me feel a similar way from whenever. And the book talks about how the body keeps the score. Where does the body hold all of its trauma, right? I just really liked the way that he wrote it. It's very, I did an audio version of it, and it was super easy to understand and digest and take in. And it's been incredibly useful all this time later. I read that years and years ago, and it was a great book if you're curious about how trauma really does impact us physically, because it does. Then there's the Book of Forgiveness, which I found really hard to read. It is not a big book, and it is a hard book to read. I found it difficult to read because it starts off with no apologies and no holds barred with a situation in like apartheid and forgiving the cruelty, the violence. And I have a hard time with forgiveness, I think. So the book That book was a great read for me because it made me feel very uncomfortable, and it challenged my own perception and belief about what forgiveness is, what it should be, what it feels like. Who is forgiveness for? So that's a really good book if you want to know more about how to forgive, if you're curious, if you want to forgive, if you want to know more about forgiving some really terrible things maybe people have done to you, right? So the fifth book is A Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. So in A Man's Search for Meaning, I had to read this in high school, but I've read it since then because it is such a good book. By Viktor Frankl. He was a Holocaust survivor. He actually survived one of the concentration camps. And then he became, after he was freed, he became a professor and a writer. And he wrote this book called Man's Search for Meaning. And it's not about his experience in the concentration camp. It is a little bit, but what he does with this is incredible. He takes his experience from the concentration camp and turns it into something meaningful in his life. And he ended up living a life that he was proud of. He felt so much joy. He found love. He lived a good life after that. That's hard to believe, right? I couldn't imagine doing that, you know? So to read that book, I think even before I went to Iraq, then to read it again as an adult after having been and lived life, wow. So if you're looking for a change in perspective, or you are like in a place where I kind of sit in a place where I really love my life. I feel very happy with it. And I also have some guilt about it. So I don't know if you have a similar experience in your own life or if you have had that. But this book, A Man's Search for Meaning, has been so helpful to remind me that, it's perspective. And our life is only as meaningful as we make it, right? That's up to me to do. So that's all I have for you today. I know it's a short one. I hope that you enjoy it. If this is something that you like the top 5 of or resources or whatever, so let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss anything. There are new videos every Sunday. You can check my Substack for more information. And until next time, take good care of yourself.